I want to talk about the Democrats now. Minnesota's Democratic Party has endorsed far-left state Senator Omar Fateh for Minneapolis mayor, snubbing incumbent Democrat Jacob Frey. And Omar Fateh has received, I suppose, many comparisons to New York City's Zohran Mamdani. And I want to get into Mamdani in a moment. But Omar Fateh, if he's elected as mayor, he would want to raise the city's minimum wage, increase the supply of affordable housing, and combat what he calls police violence, aka defund the police. Can I get your assessment of Omar Fateh?
Gabriella, for a very long time, I've been warning that there's frankly numerous threats to Western civilization. But if I had to really distill it into one term, you could probably distill it into the term red-green alliance, which is a term that I and many other conservatives here in the U.S. like to throw about. It refers to this very toxic alliance between the far-left socialists and Marxists and radical Islam, the Islamists. And I say all that for context because when you look at someone like this guy in Minneapolis, or when you look at someone like Zohran Mamdani in New York City, you're seeing these single body encapsulations and distillations of the so-called red-green alliance. It's this absurd combination of woke Muslim identity politics and all of that entails when it comes to grievances against the Jews, the Christians, Western civilization in general. And then you kind of throw in this utterly astounding, ignorance at best, but frankly, just economic arson at worst when it comes to their views on bread and butter economic policies there. If this is the direction that the Democratic Party actually intends to go, they are not going to get anything other than just repeatedly shellacked by the American people at the ballot box. Again, as someone who frankly wishes the Democratic Party nothing but the absolute worst, I'm not exactly complaining about this, especially as someone who lives in Florida. I live in a red state. I'm pretty shielded from whatever hooligans are doing in Michigan or Minnesota or God forbid, New York City there. So I don't particularly care that much, to be honest with you. If this is really what they want to do, I think it's really, really stupid. But they seem to be, frankly, doubling down on stupid. As far as I can tell, that seems to be their best strategy right now.
Well, socialist Zohran Mamdani appears to be becoming the face of the Democratic Party. Look, I want to get your thoughts on what that means for New York City, but you've also written about how the Democratic Party's brand is absolutely in tatters, and a recent poll revealed that Congressional Democrats have a 19% approval rating, an all-time low in the history of that particular poll. Also, Hunter Biden, we've heard from him today. He's gone on an unhinged rant, blaming the Democrats for the election loss. Also confident, though, that the party isn't dead, saying that there are strong candidates such as Tim Walz and Kamala Harris. But he also revealed what he would do as president. Look at this.
But these guys think that we need to run away from all values in order for us to lead. I say, F you. How are we getting those people back from El Salvador? Because I'll tell you what, if I became president in 2 years from now, or 4 years from now, or 3 years from now, I would pick up the phone and call the president of El Salvador and say, you either send them back or I'm going to invade. It's a crime what they're doing. He's a dictator thug.
Bukele or Trump?
Both.
Oh, he's eloquent, isn't he, Josh?
He said a lot of really kind of far out there things over the course of this interview. If I'm not mistaken, Gabriella, he basically said that birds, like the animals that fly in the sky, he basically said that birds are like a psyop or a fake or something like that there. Maybe he's done, one too many cocaine-laced benders or something like that there. But he had some choice words for various other people in his party. He was excoriating James Carville, who was the winning campaign manager for Bill Clinton back in '92. He said basically that Carville has not won a race in 40 years. He went very hard after the Obama podcast bros, the folks who are hosting all those popular podcasts, saying, oh, what have you guys done? You just won a couple elections. That's all. It's because you have Barack Obama. And he was talking a lot about trying to defend his father. Look, this is someone who is, I guess, trying to stay relevant there. But, frankly, Gabriella, as someone, who now has a young daughter, I look at Hunter Biden and it's very pitiful. The whole thing is just deeply sad. And, Joe Biden is exiting stage left at a very, very terrible time. His entire life is going to be defined, frankly, by his tragic decision for his own party to not step down there. But I think in some other ways, Joe Biden's life is going to be defined by Hunter Biden, because I hate to say it, but again, as a new father, I can't help but think it. that this is a situation where Joe Biden just epically failed in his capacity as a father to raise a son like this there, especially for a family in the public light, a very public facing, prominent family, Democratic Party royalty. I mean, for the son to end up like this, as a new father myself, it really just makes me nothing other than frankly just sad.
Yeah, Josh Hammer, I completely agree with you. Senior editor at large at Newsweek. Josh Hammer, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.